Alright folks, so I bring you in the battle already joined, but as you can see, not by that much. We missed the first wave. It is what it is, but we have 250. 3 rounds ago, we had 330 on the server pop, so I'm eternally optimistic that this is going to be a good one. I'm certainly hoping so. We had some good leaders on here. We're going to take a look and see how this charge fares. Anyways, for the Union, it's always a matter of you only need the last charge to succeed, but that's generally true of attackers. Anyways, it's the last one that's the final one, because once you succeed, why do you keep playing? But the Union here, it seems like they have pretty big numbers. I mean, we see a CSA group back there. Remember that the CSA only has 3 flags, because, and here is the first VA CAV. You can tell by that blue flag there, that is them, and then this is the CSA group that was joining them. I'm a little concerned that this Union attack is too spread out. I mean, you got a flag here with a small escort. You got another big group coming in there. This group here, they're going to come and they're going to get 3v1, which, if you don't know how that goes, well, you're about to see. I don't think it's going to go well, but what it does do is it creates a window for those 2 flags, which are not quite in frame, to get up here in the orchard and to lay some herding in. The CSA needs to know the writing is on the wall. They have to go in and wipe this group, put this flag down, and then they can probably turn and face these other 2 groups, but this is actually, as far as it goes for the Union, this is not too bad. The first VA CAV was a little slow in getting down here. Their horses were elsewhere. This is just going to be a little costly bit over there. Union is rolling some already up real far. That's been their first 10 minutes of the game, so hope they're enjoying it. But the Union have 2 flags here. There's a chance if they push they can get their 3rd up. Remember, the Union on this map, because it doesn't have any sharps, but the defenders do, the Union have the advantage of a 4th flag compared to the 3 for the defenders. And as the attackers, you always want your flags up. So as many as you can get, you want those up, and you want people spawning in on it. There is a mystery of where the fourth flag, I'm presuming, is one of the ones back there. Oh, there it is. Okay, it has been located, and clearly CSA already knew where it was. So that means that the Union had 3 flags up. Or maybe that was just the flag we saw run over. No, I don't think so. That one was kind of yellowish. Alright. The CSA, I don't know if they sent everybody in here. Did they send everybody in? Maybe, okay, maybe they wrapped. They did not wrap the other side. So this is very nicely done for the Union here. And it is true that the wood part of the barn... Oh, okay, this is the cleanup. And that will finish them off. And pin their flag down here. I don't think they're going to have time to get that flag out of bounds. Does he know? I think he knows. Oh, but he couldn't quite get there. So, anyways. That Union group forced the CSA to pull over into the corner. So now if the Union wants, the area up there should be open. And I don't know if that's... Well... Okay, so those are 2 Union flags. 3rd Union flag is there. Maybe the first VA CAV, yeah. No. Yeah, okay, it is there. I only saw the center of that flag, and I thought it was someone other than them. So, yeah, the Union's down to 1 flag. CSA has all 3 of theirs up. Union's going to try to get back in here. I think they needed to just make the beeline, but I don't think that they even would have had the angle there to get those flags back. So, anyways, we'll see what they do. They probably want their flags, but... The CSA would do well to deny those flags for as long as possible. I would put a solid group on there defending it. You can see that the CSA has certainly committed 1 company on defense over here. The CSA with a very good early lead. The Union is not in a position where they can make a long-term shootout of this, because it's only got 1 flag to respawn. Though, yeah, and the CSA have 2. So what I would normally recommend here would be to throw everybody, if you were the Union, against the cav that are up there. Because you either YOLO charge and wipe them, or you low charge and you get wiped. But you're waiting for your flags to respawn. That's what happens. And it doesn't matter. You're just going to lose a whole bunch of out of formation now. I mean, it does matter, but we'll see if the Union is listening. The fire from the Cav makes it sound like it's not a huge deal here. We're going to take a look at how things look actually up on Nicodemus Hill. Things look good, but this will give you a quick overview of your officers. So this round is not as well known. Not as well known to me as they are on other rounds, but that is the way that sometimes go. Previous round, several names that you would recognize if you are a frequenter on pubs, but here it's maybe about 50-50. And we can see the Union's back there in their spawn. And until those 2 flags come back, I'm not sure what, or 3 flags come back, I'm not sure what to tell them. Looked like a good shot. Gotta love the sound of those Napoleons firing. Alright, so the Union's gonna go to their right, CSA left again. CSA looks ready for it. Of course, we're gonna get a face full of smoke when it finally happens. Oh! That's rough. That's rough. When you've been waiting there to pull that lanyard, and then you get knocked down by a friendly. Eh, looked in the right vicinity. This, as long as they hit the right group, they should be all right. We'll stop watching from Marty. We'll see how things actually go down in the hole. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see... We'll see how disciplined the CSA gets. I've noticed that sometimes when they get up, as they are able to do on this map, sometimes they're not, but as they're able to get up in tickets, sometimes they push out far in there. They're kind of tap dancing on the Union. And from a tickets perspective, that's never the right thing to do. But it's understandable. As CSA's up almost half a morale stage here, as we are at engage. But good news for the Union is that they did get the CSA's tickets down to engage before they hit that 27-minute mark. And that means they could get them to breaking in time. That was interesting. Normally when I'm on the back side of these rocks and Artie is pounding the front side of it, I don't die. It's always people on the Artie facing side, the Artie that shot you side, that die, but that was different. Is the Union over here? I was gonna say, it's very quiet here in the center. And that was a Union attack that just absolutely got eviscerated.
Charge! V for violence, boys!
You can't stop and shoot it out with Cav. I understand why you want to do it, but they're going to switch to their pistols. And even though the Cav are limited in number, you just got to go into melee, close the distance. So that way those 6 shooters don't matter too much, because they're so close that they're going to have to shoot into friendlies, and given their limited numbers, that's doing you a favor. Plus, Cav have a huge advantage and then as they spawn in on flag, ricochet. As the Cav come in on flag, they can just switch to their revolver, and they're far more lethal at those close combats than they would be even with their sharps, which is quite good. Did the Union go right again? Did they just pack up and leave? Oh, no, they didn't pack up and leave. Okay.
They're on the stone wall to the southwest.
Your mama.
Yes, one of the great unsung heroes of the Civil War.
Right up.
It looked like it was a pretty good hit in the wall. Union Artie's definitely going to make Halleck, and you know, if Hunt would have cared so much at this point, certainly going to make Halleck and Stanton and probably Sam and Chase not too happy with him, but that's okay. They can send the invoice to Campfire Games. You don't understand the reference, neither do I. Yeah. Well, you can, but eventually they gotta come back. Okay, and they got help. It's not too bad initially for the Union. They got most of that company down. Third Union flag, you can see it coming up in the distance. That was a nice shot to break up that attack and to freeze the respawns for a few seconds. I think both artillery sides just don't care about the TKs. It's the nature of the thing. This actually looks promising. We'll see if the Cav come in. All right, you can see the Cav are there with pistols. They may come in and be the X factor here. But this is fairly productive. We'll see if the Union's going to opt to spawn in on flag. I think that... is Cav here in total, or was it just a few of them? All right, some of the Cav is down there shooting at... oh, the fourth flag. I think that's, yeah, I think that's going to allow them to, the Union to get this side. You see, yeah, that's how you got to deal with the Cav. You just got to gang up in melee and close distance. Put the flags down, keep them down. There is one, you don't want to trickle in here, but for some reason, I thought there were 2 CSA flags down out there, but there's only one. Yeah.
Bayonets down, straight to the bar. Don't worry about this right now. Everyone, bayonets down. Bayonets down. Get right here. Get right here. Don't let them move up. Do not let them get to that bar.
Oh, yeah, you need your guys to go with you. Well, you heard it there first.
Aim for those flags, no matter what. Aim for those flags.
So that tells us when the Union went down. I don't know what the Union was doing out here. Probably getting smacked by Artie. It didn't, and as good as that charge was, it wasn't good enough. No, they need to pull back. That officer can get a fresh 6, but this is not what you want to be doing. You're just gonna lose a flag here. I know you don't want to be here because Artie's gonna get you, but you got to get some loads, and it's hard to build up your strength. Where is that fourth? There it is. Right on cue, the guys who were running distraction and kind of froze the Cav out there. If these guys could come in and add some heft to this and allow the 3 friendly flags to spawn people in, that would help. I don't think running into between the Cav and the CSA over there is really the most productive. What do I know? Here we have some confusion. We have one group push forward. One group decided to join this group. And this is concentration versus dispersion. Well executed by the CSA, but very much furthered by the Union. It's easy up here to kind of call all the right moves, or at least some of the right moves. Yep, they're all going to get wiped. I think, although the Cav are few in number here. I don't know if they know it. But you can't really hunker down against them and just hope that they run out of ammo. They're not going to. They're just going to send more. And you got to go out, you got to charge them. Oh, Cav didn't like their chances, so they actually pulled out. Union's got to get that flag up. It's a little high. Oh, and I guess the CSA have enough. They're just going to send Pistoliers in. What? Wow, that one guy just dropped two? I don't think so. I think somebody was shooting from over here. But that's a Cav guy. You can tell by the gauntlets and the sharps. All right, these two groups are continuing. They're no larger than they were 2 minutes ago. But the CSA's almost gone taking losses. The CSA finally pushed through. And they'll go taking losses about a half morale stage up. But well ahead of the 17-minute mark, where I'd be worried if I was the Union that you weren't doing enough. Hard to know what to do. I think you gotta fold it in here. As much as you pushed up here and you paid the ticket toll, there are way more dudes shooting at you than you're shooting back, and eventually you're gonna lose that attrition fight. And so you got to pull back and reset. Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there.
All right, send it back, boys. Send it back.
But you can see they're just pretty much spawning and dying. Because the defenders at this point, look, everybody that's coming in on flag isn't going to be combat effective for about 25 seconds. CSA have all that, plus artillery, with easy sight lines on you.
Get the fucking flag up!
Yeah, well, and get it out. But there's no way you're going to outshoot that. And so you just got to pull the flag out so you can get some numbers and you can get roughly even attrition. And then it's a very good fight for the attackers. How did we do? Yeah, we got up to 325 already. Well, I shouldn't say already. I think we're more than halfway there, but got about 18 minutes left if we needed it. All right, so that's not first VA that's going over there. It's not the Cav flags, so let's see what's up there. Too sure what they see unless there's just a group moving without infantry. I see some skirmishers in the fence. And first VA Cav is already there. You can see the flag just barely. At least I can. Maybe it got captured. But yeah, the Union got the stone shack out here almost for free. And now, seeing that there's no reason to be up there, I guess that company is going to come down. What is it? It is one of the 13 Virginia companies is going to come down. And, all right, CSA doesn't want that flag to get up and stay up, and I don't blame them. Honestly, that could have been a flag recovery rather than a flag stand-in, but it is tempting to get behind that stone shack. But you're doing it without your three friendlies. That was a good shot, good-looking shot by Union already. Again, what did it actually do? Who knows? But see, you now have a situation where, as the Union, you've lost another flag, and it's going to be out for 5 minutes, or I think it's 5 minutes. So something that's worth knowing: you should always camp down flags. I think as the defenders, as long as you have the manpower to do it, and it's in a relatively safe space to camp. I'm pretty sure though once an enemy picks it up, wow, this dude's gone absolutely ham. I think it was the same guy. And Zouave doing the correct Zouave thing, running away. But anyways, welcome to War Rights. Alright, so it looks like there's an actually big clash. So we're not going to look at the quasi-chivalry 1v1s. We're going to take a look at a bigger press here. Nicely done on the knockdown. Now, if that had been timed, with the Union push, it was very hard to do. That would have disrupted that defending. And if we had larger kill radius, it would have been far more devastating. But we're playing the game we got at the moment. So it looks like the Union is at least trickling to their right, CSA left. I see absolutely nothing. That doesn't mean... Oh, there were some shadows back there. Oh, yeah, way back there. Union's about to go breaking. They've somehow found a way to go further behind here. I don't... It's probably just people trickling in. Either self-appointed flag recoverers or not. But if I didn't finish that earlier point, it was that the attackers pick up the flag and you can then down them as soon as they pick it up. I think the respawn timer resets. And so it's supposed to be down, I think, for 5 minutes. Instead of 5 minutes, you can make it 10, 15, far more than it should be. It was a very interesting shot. Looked a bit low, but it still dropped. It's interesting, they're almost appearing as tracer rounds going out, but all right, so here's an actual push.
In the road right here.
I just wonder, I mean, look at the tail on that charge, right? It starts there, one, I'll count. So, without waiting for the absolute last Union person to go in, the time difference between the first Union guy to the wall and, we'll say, somewhere around 2/3 of the way to the last was over 30 seconds, which is a full reload cycle. And some of the things I've been thinking about in terms of maps where it feels like... I don't know what that was about. That was unnecessary. They had at least 4 or 5 more minutes before they had to worry. But now the Union can't go last stand in this counterattack. But I guess whether it's attackers or defenders, when you go in for a melee, you go in for a close quarter one, I think people are used to playing on when we had 150-man servers, and there's a lot of single and double column charges. But that creates very long tails. That was a nice canister shot. It's a good example. You can just kind of see the trail that canister took. It kind of travels in like a dispersed column. And you can see that that is probably 150 yards at least. And so it's dispersed enough to do widespread damage. And you can't stand there. You ain't going to do anything useful there. It's a lot of low levels. It's rough. That's rough, but... anyways, the solution to the problem, I think, is that groups, when you really want to concentrate, you got to do something like that charge, you got to get wider, you got to get thicker, and you got to shorten up those tails. That's how you concentrate against dispersion. If you show up with everybody more or less at once, you have a much better chance, but whoever's receiving that charge can do a full reload cycle. This is a pretty good chivalry impression. Yes, remember the time you were reloading and you got stabbed and you just kind of shrugged it off? Again, you got the tickets to meme like this. That was the most convoluted melee I've ever seen.
Hey.
Wow, dude, this guy's going absolutely ham here. He took out, I think, at least 3. Anyways.
So they don't get too worried.
No, I'm no expert.
I mean, the Union, the one advantage they have is that they have about 12.5 minutes. The next charge will likely bring the CSA down to breaking. And then it's then until the Union runs out of tickets and goes final push. And with whatever time they have left to try to hold the cap. But the CSA's position is they have more tickets than they need. They can play a little foolish with tickets. But they have got to deny the cap. So overall, they're in a good spot. But the Union have, as the attackers do, usually have a chance. But anyways, back to that earlier point in this downtime. With these larger servers, you get those long tails, you have those long dispersed charges. You're going up against a group with sharps. That's almost 2 full reload, aim, fire cycles, right? And if they start loaded, that's almost 3 rounds from each of them before you hit here. And from others, assuming that everybody starts loaded, they're going to get to shoot at you at least twice before you have a chance to engage them at close range. So... And as you attack in, remember, everybody you're losing is coming in, unless they're cav, they're coming in without loads, without bayos, and so they're less effective. So I know that the counter argument to thicker columns, but even something like this is, well, Artie is going to do more damage against you, and on Nicodemus it's particularly true. But that's also true if you're spread out. You give Artie more time to reload, and because Artie doesn't have a very high, and this is the CSI, they know that they have those tickets, they can come out and meet them. But because Artie doesn't have a wide kill radius, just has a wide knockdown radius, you know, as long as you're not at the very back, you'll still make it in with the rest of the group, and it gives artillery less time to reload and get a second volley on you. Yeah, I think you're out of line right there, buddy. Oh, no, you got a third. All right, you're coming in and skirmishing. These guys here are all out of formation, right? Everybody's looking for cover in the middle of an open field. Usually that's the charge you get after the Union's gone final push and the CSA's breaking last stand. I'm surprised they went with that. Well, not all the Union officers are the most seasoned on this one. Again, it's about 50-50. Yeah, this is just the CSA kind of tap dancing on them. They don't have to do this. But it's 2.5 minutes. They can press through. If they're willing to die, they could press up to Union Artie. But I think that's going to be all she wrote. As long as the CSA's flags stay back here, those guys can run up if they want, assuming that the Union doesn't have a large group in the woods that would knock those flags down and then turn the stone wall against them. Union here looks like they're going to try to get around him, but yeah, straight line. Geometry is not in their favor.
That's like 1 or 2 guys just go all around.
So the idea here for the CSA, I guess, is to just force them to take the long way. Maybe sacrifice some tickets for time, right? You're going to put more Union back on the respawn clock. And the good news is, as a CSA, when you do die, you get a free respawn right on point where you need to be. In the closing minute here, I guess I'll just think out loud. As many of these pub games as I've done, I've never seen a group, an attacking group in particular, try to pull a kind of switcheroo attack. And Nicodemus is one of the maps where you can do it. But you get all the flags together with an escort, sizable escort, to keep them safe. You push them one way, and then you push everybody else another way. I think the way that might be able to work on Nicodemus would be to send the flags to the right, and then do an early charge as the Union does up on the left. And either you wipe them or you don't. But all the attackers who respawn in are going to respawn on flags. And so most of your manpower was on one side, but it quickly respawns to the other side of the battlefield. I've never seen it happen, and probably with good reason. It's probably a bad idea. But there's a possibility for it to work on that map. Maybe Dunker Church. Heavens no, attackers need some help on Hatch's attack. And I wonder, it's those maps where there's a lot of wide left to right movement. It wouldn't work, I don't think, so well on Graveyard, maybe some other maps, but it would be a way to quickly shift troops from one side of the field to another, and where there's more than one viable path forward, like there is on Nicodemus and on Dunker and on Hatches and a bunch of others, it would allow you to kind of quickly turn from one side to the other. So even if you lose the first time, I guess the question is, if you win, right, if you actually won the charge in the wood on Nicodemus, but you didn't have your flags, you couldn't win for long. I don't know. All right, that's going to be it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching that one, and we'll see you next time.